Okay, so hi and welcome to this free training. It's called Tapping into Wealth. And tonight I'm going to be talking about emotional freedom technique and how you can use it to create more prosperity in your life. So before we get started, some housekeeping. We're going to be here for about 45 minutes tonight, maybe a bit longer depending on questions, but certainly not longer than an hour. I should imagine we'll get it all covered in 45 minutes. Yeah, just to say as we go into this, particularly with the kind of thing we're going to be covering tonight, and actually we're going to be doing some tapping, some EFT live during the session. So I invite you to switch off any distractions that you've got on at the moment, log out of any other tabs you've got open on your laptop, on your PC, kind of put your phone to one side, and make sure you're somewhere you won't be disturbed, because as I said, we're going to be doing some tapping. So it's great if you can just be somewhere where you've got some peace and quiet and you can tap away without being disturbed by anyone else. And I always ask when I do anything like this that, you know, you've decided to kind of show up for this, whether you're watching it live or the recording. You know, this has attracted you for some reason. So allow yourself to give it your full attention. Okay, I talked about this on the training session I was doing on Tuesday about potent prosperity and taking potent action in our life and our business. And whatever you do, giving it your full attention in that moment, because that's when you see powerful results. So to help us to do that, we'll just take a moment to get centered and get grounded. Okay, so if it feels okay for you, I invite you to close your eyes, just wherever you are, just closing your eyes. Just taking 3 deep breaths in and out, right down into your belly. That's good. And with each breath out, just letting go of anything you don't need in this moment. You can imagine the rest of the day, the rest of the week, it's just dropping away from you. And just really bringing yourself into this moment. So you just allow your breath to settle now. Just let it become natural. And whenever you feel ready, just opening your eyes. That's good. Hopefully you feel a bit more centered, a bit more grounded, so that you can receive what you need to receive during this session. Okay. So let me tell you a bit more about what we're going to be covering this evening. I'm going to talk very briefly about what EFT is, what emotional freedom technique is. And I'll probably be kind of interchanging the terms EFT, emotional freedom technique, and tapping. So don't get confused, it's all the same thing. So it doesn't matter whether you've done EFT before, you could be quite experienced, you might be a complete beginner. Really doesn't matter, this session will help you either way. I'm going to be talking about 3 very specific ways you can use EFT to increase your prosperity, and there will be time for questions, so feel free to ask questions as we're going along. That's absolutely fine. You can just type it into the chat box, and there'll be time for questions at the end, and after we've done some of the tapping, I'll just be asking you to feedback about how that was for you. Okay. Before we get into that, just a very brief introduction, just in case you don't know who I am or not particularly familiar with me. Obviously I'm called Nicola Humber. I'm a hypnotherapist, EFT practitioner and coach. And the area I specialise in is helping women in business to overcome any money blocks or limiting beliefs so that they can create the income and the abundance in their lives and their businesses that they really desire. The reason that I focus on this work is that when I started my own hypnotherapy practice 6 years ago, when I started my own business, At first I really struggled, and I wasn't sure why, because I was taking action, I was doing all the right things, but I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted, and had real ups and downs in my income. So it was through doing the kind of inner work that I'm going to be sharing with you, through doing things like hypnosis for myself and EFT. That's probably the most powerful thing that's helped me. I was able to look at any limiting beliefs I had around money and being successful, and clear those, so that I could start to create the results that I really wanted in my business and really have a sustainable business. Okay, so that's why I'm really passionate about sharing this kind of content now. Okay, let's get into the main body of the session tonight. And like I said, I'm going to kick off by oh, hey, I can see someone else has joined us. Hey, Gwyneth. Gwyneth, if you could mute. Hi, Gwyneth. If you could mute your microphone just for the recording, and there will be time for questions later.
Okie dokie.
Thank you very much. Oh, you're fantastic. I was going to say, can you see how to do it? Brilliant. Lovely to have you here. So Gwyneth, we're just getting into the main content of the call. I'm going to be talking a little bit about emotional freedom technique and what it is, just in case some of you either live or watching the recording have never experienced emotional freedom technique before. And I always find it a little bit tricky to explain what EFT is. I always find it's better to actually have an experience of it, which you're going to be doing during the session this evening, because then it makes more sense. But the best way that I've found of describing it is it's kind of like emotional acupuncture, but without the needles. What we do with EFT is that we tap on different acupressure points on the face and the body, which are the end of energy meridians. Okay. And when we tap on these acupressure points, we create a vibration that goes down the energy meridians. So why do we do this? Why do we tap on these certain points? Well, the idea behind EFT is that when we have experiences, particularly traumatic experiences, and when I say traumatic, it doesn't have to be a big trauma, it can be a small trauma. The emotions can kind of get stuck within our energy systems. Emotions and different beliefs that we create about the world can get stuck in our energy systems. And that can that can cause us to get stuck in particular patterns or habits that don't serve us. So if you notice that you're always finding yourself in the same kind of situations, you know, maybe you're always finding yourself in the same kind of relationships, always attracting the same kind of people. In your business, you're always attracting a particular kind of client who's not really your ideal client. Or you're always kind of creating the same level of income and you can't seem to break through to the next level. These are the kind of things that EFT can help with, to kind of shift those patterns by letting go of that emotion that's got stuck within you. Okay, so what it does when we manage to clear all this stuff away, it helps to raise our vibration so we can send a really clear signal out to the universe, to potential clients, you know, just sending a really clear signal out into the world about what we really want to create. So yeah, it's a really cleansing and releasing process. But like I said, it will make more sense when we get into it. Okay. I'm going to be explaining it all to you. And EFT is one of the key tools that I use both personally and with my clients, as well as hypnotherapy. But I love EFT because it's so simple. It's something that you can use for yourself very easily. And my aim for you is by the end of this session, you'll know how to use EFT. You'll be able to go away and use it in your life, in your business, in your personal life. And, you know, it's a process that doesn't take very long to see results either. So that's why I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's move on to the first specific way that you can use EFT to increase your prosperity. And that is to release constricting emotions that you might feel about money. Okay. So hopefully you feel, when you think about your financial situation, you feel joyful, you feel expansive, you feel excited, that, if you feel like that, fantastic. Okay. And that's certainly what we're looking to get to. But what I've found very often, both personally and through working with clients, is that there can be a whole lot of these more constricting, kind of heavier emotions that we experience around money and our financial situation. So that might be fear, panic, anxiety, stress, oh goodness, frustration, guilt, shame, anger, you name it, those kind of heavier emotions, we can feel it around money. And the thing is, when we're experiencing those constricting emotions about money, about our financial situation, it really weighs us down. And the people around us, that we want to bring into our business as either potential clients or potential people who might collaborate with us or help us to kind of promote our business, people we might meet networking, they can pick up on when we're experiencing these kind of heavier emotions. It's not that you're talking about it necessarily, but we all tend to be very sensitive to other people's energies, whether we know it or not. So if you're saying one thing, if you're saying, yeah, everything's fantastic, I'm doing really well in my business, whereas really you're just feeling really sick and anxious because you don't know how you're going to pay your bills this month, then whoever you're speaking to will pick up on that at some level. They might not even be aware of exactly what's going on, but they'll just notice there's some kind of mismatch going on. And this can apply either when you meet someone face to face, or even when you're communicating online. So when you're posting stuff on Facebook, when you're putting stuff on Twitter, if you don't really believe what you're putting out there, if you're trying to put kind of a brave face on everything, people will pick up on that kind of energetically. So what we want to do is to have a way of releasing and shifting these heavier emotions so that you can really be sending a clear and positive signal out to the universe and also out to the people that you want to attract into your business, or you want to help you with your business. Okay. So these heavier emotions, what they do is they really lower your vibration. So the tapping can help to raise your vibration, free you up to move forward in a much more resourceful way, because you're going to feel better, you're going to be able to make more resourceful decisions and choices for yourself. You're going to be making them from a place of feeling powerful and expansive rather than, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do, I'm in a panic. So this is one of the key ways that I like to use emotional freedom technique. Okay. So let me show you how we use tapping, and then we'll get into doing some around any emotions you might be feeling about your financial situation at the moment. So when we start tapping, we first of all start off on this point, which is called the karate chop point. And you might just like to kind of tap along with me as I'm just explaining the points we're going to tap on. You don't have to say anything for now. You might just like to tap on the points. Just gets you into that kind of muscle memory, getting used to them. So the karate chop point is halfway between the base of the little finger and the wrist. Okay, and it doesn't matter what side you tap on, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. And when we tap on the karate chop point, we say something called the setup statement. And all that is just acknowledging whatever it is you're experiencing, whatever it is you're feeling, and combining that with a positive affirmation. So say you were tapping on feeling stressed about money. You would say something like, even though I'm feeling stressed about money, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay. And that's the standard positive affirmation that we use. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now, sometimes I've worked with people who find it difficult to say those words because they'll say, look, I don't believe that, I don't want to say that. It's fine, and it can be a bit of a mouthful, to tell the truth, and we'll use it this evening, but you can adapt those words to suit you. So you just want to be saying something positive. So you could say, in this moment, I choose to accept myself, or even though I'm feeling stressed about money, I am okay. You know, you just want to make it positive. And the idea is that, one, you're acknowledging whatever you're experiencing, and you're saying, even though this is happening, I am okay. Even though this is happening, I do love and accept myself. So you're sending that message to yourself and out into the universe at the same time. Okay. And what I like about EFT is that rather than trying to deny these feelings, which are natural feelings, rather than just trying to push them down, we're actually acknowledging them, we're bringing them out into the open. And I'm sure, as we've all experienced throughout our lives, when we try and hold kind of negative, limiting emotions down, these heavier emotions down, and kind of deny them, it feels much more uncomfortable than when we actually let them out and talk to someone else about them. The great thing about EFT is that you don't necessarily have to talk to another person. You can just tap for yourself, and you're just releasing how you feel. Anyway, that's the karate chop point. So we say the setup statement 3 times. Okay, and we're going to be, going through all this in a minute. You're going to have a chance to try it for yourself, and that will help you to get used to it. Okay, then we move on to the rest of the points, which are crown of the head, okay, beginning of the eyebrow, and again you can tap on either side. Sometimes I tap on both when I like to get a double hit. Okay, side of the eye on the bony bit, under the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, and under the arm, just where your bra strap is. Okay, so that's the sequence of points that we tap on. When we're tapping on the rest of these points, on each one, we just say a couple of words that keeps us focused on whatever we're tapping on. Okay, so we'll get into doing some tapping now around any emotions that you might be experiencing around your financial situation at the moment. Okay, so what I want you to do is just tune in to how you're feeling about your finances at the moment, or how you're doing in your business, the income you're creating. You just want to access some of the emotion there. Okay, so just noticing what that emotion is. Hopefully you'll be able to name it, have an idea of what it is. And when you've tuned into that particular emotion, I just want you to notice where in your body you're holding that emotion right now. Okay, so maybe you're feeling anxious in your stomach, or panicky in your chest, or something else. You find you're drawn to a particular part of your body. So just noticing where you hold that emotion. Okay. Once you've got your emotion, you've got the part of the body where you're holding it. I just want you to notice how intense that emotion is right now at this moment. So you can do that by giving it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. So 0, it's not there at all. 10, it's really intense. Okay, it's as intense as it can be. So just notice what number comes to you. You don't have to be, you don't have to think about this too much. Really just go with whatever comes to you. And the reason we want to get a number for the intensity is just so you have a starting point. You know where you're starting from. So after we've done a couple of rounds of tapping, you can check back in and hopefully notice that shifted in some way for you. Okay. So I just wonder if anyone on the live, here live, just wants to share You don't have to share any detail at all, but you know, if you have an emotion and a part of your body, if you want to type it into the chat box, that's fine. If you prefer not to, then don't, but it just gives me something to work with when we're tapping round. Just going to take a glass of water. Okay, like I said, it's fine if you don't want to. Not staying focused. Okay, great, Nicholas. You've said not staying focused, and at a number 7. Okay, so I wonder what actual kind of emotion that is. I wonder how that makes you feel, the fact that you can't stay focused. Because that's what we want to get to, the underlying emotion. So does that make you feel frustrated, irritated? Does it make you feel a bit anxious? Great awareness that you find it difficult to stay focused. But I wonder if there is a particular emotion there. If it comes to you, fine, and you know, feel free to type it in. If not, maybe it will come to you as we're tapping around. What I'm going to do for the purposes of this, frustrated and annoyed, yeah, which is what I find, you know, for a lot of us, a lot of women, we can have that frustration. So that's brilliant. It's not brilliant that you feel that way, but it's brilliant that you know what it is. So as we're tapping round, I'm going to lead you through the points. I'm going to say the words and you just repeat them after me. I'm going to bring in kind of all of the kind of heavier emotions that I can think of. But as you're tapping around for yourself, just keep it specific for you. So if you've got a specific emotion that you're tapping on, just say those words, okay? So even though I'll be going through lots of different emotions, just keep focused on the one that you're working with. So Nicola, for you, it'll be frustration, annoyed, not being able to focus, okay? But you really can't get this wrong. I was speaking with a one-to-one client earlier, and we'd done some tapping a couple of weeks ago, and she'd come back and she was like, well, I haven't used it because I wasn't really sure about whether I was doing it right. You cannot get this wrong. Whatever you do is going to help in some way. But let's get into it. Okay. So we're going to start off on the karate chop point. Okay. So like I say, just tap round the points and repeat the words after me. So even though I'm feeling frustrated about money right now, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling stressed and anxious about my finances, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I've got all of this emotion about money, and I can feel it in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Okay. So we're going to tap around the rest of the points now. Feeling frustrated. Really annoyed about my financial situation. I'm anxious about money. So stressed about my finances. And I can feel it in my body now. All of these money emotions. Feeling panicky about money. Feeling stressed and anxious. All of these money emotions. I feel guilty about money. Scared about my financial situation. I'm really annoyed I'm not doing better. I should be doing better by now. I'm angry with myself about it. All of these money emotions. All of this emotion about money. Okay. So just take a deep breath in and out. That's good. And just tune into that emotion, whatever emotion it was you were experiencing again. And just notice what number it is now. How it feels now. And again, feel free to type that into the chat box if you would like to share, if you've noticed anything in particular about how that shifted for you. Sometimes the intensity can actually increase when we first start tapping, okay? So don't worry if that happens. Sometimes it becomes more intense before it starts to reduce. And that's fine. You can just do a few more rounds of tapping until you get that emotion down. Okay. Sometimes it can shift from one part of the body to another. So maybe it starts in your stomach, then it moves to your chest or your throat. Again, that's completely normal, completely natural. And it actually shows that something's shifting. The idea is that you keep tapping and you're as specific as possible about whatever it is you're feeling until you get that number down to a nice low number that feels much more manageable for you. So has anyone got any questions or feedback about that? While I have another sip of water. Hopefully you've noticed that you feel calmer after doing that anyway. Okay. Well, we're going to have another experience of tapping a bit later on in the session anyway. But I think using it for those emotions that we experience about money or a financial situation is one of the key areas to use it. Yeah, Nicola. Yeah. So you said, although it felt lighter, it's still there. So how do you deal with it? Yeah. And after just a couple of rounds of tapping, it probably would still be there. What you will do is carry on tapping with that. Okay. So you might do some more tapping this evening, a few more rounds. Or, you know, it's something you might work on over a period of a few days, like just doing 5 minutes per day on this emotion that's coming up for you, particularly if it's been there for a long time. What can happen, what can help, like I said, is just to use words that are really specific for you. So sometimes it can help to just sit and journal, okay, exactly how am I feeling about money, about my finances at the moment? So, you know, you've started off with not feeling focused, then frustrated and annoyed. Is there anything else that comes up for you there? Okay. You've tuned into where it is in your body. You can be more specific there. So, I can't remember where it was it in your stomach? Wherever it is, just how does that feel? Does it feel constricted? Does it feel like a ball? Does it feel fluttery? Just use more descriptive words as you're tapping. The idea is that you want to be as specific as possible to whatever it is you're experiencing. Okay. So it can help to write it down first of all. I find that rather than just going straight into tapping, I'll just take a few minutes just to write down exactly what it is I'm experiencing, and then I'll use those words as I'm tapping, because it's when you use those specific words that it's much more powerful and potent. I hope that helps, Nicola. Hopefully it'll make more sense as we go through the rest of the session as well. yeah, we'll come back to that at the end of the session as well, and I'll just check in with you and see how you're feeling, and if you need to ask anything else. Okay, great, fantastic. So I just want to move on to the second way that you can use EFT to increase your prosperity, to help you in your business. And this is a really, really practical way, actually. And it's to clear any emotion or energy before or after any particular interactions or meetings. Okay, so it's just doing a couple of rounds of tapping, say before you go on any client calls or meetings with clients or potential clients. So maybe before you go on a sales call with a client, you'll do a couple of rounds of tapping just to clear any emotion that's coming up, any nerves or anxiety. You do that so you can go into the interaction feeling really clear, really resourceful, and in a much more positive state. Okay. Examples of other times you might like to use it are, before going to any events, say you're exhibiting at events, meeting potential distributors or things like that. You might want to do some tapping beforehand so that you feel calmer. Before doing any public speaking. So, when I'm doing something like this, I'll just do a couple of rounds of tapping beforehand, just to help me feel centered and to let go of any kind of anxious flutters or anything like that. You can do it before going to networking meetings or events, and before you're doing any kind of pitches to companies or things like that. It's really good practice to get into, to do a couple of rounds of tapping before any kind of interactions in your business. Because again, people can pick up when we're kind of feeling nervous or stressed or anxious. People just instinctively pick up on that straight away. So what you want to do is just let go of that before you go into any situations where you're meeting potential clients or existing clients. You want to feel nice and clear and calm and relaxed and positive as you go into those. So tapping beforehand is fantastic. Also, what you can do is tap after any particular events or calls or interactions that you've had. So say you're on a call with a client or a distributor or a contact in your business, and it's just left you feeling a bit, it didn't go quite the way you wanted to. You're feeling a bit flat, a bit deflated, maybe you're beating yourself up a bit, we've all done that. What you can do is just think, okay, how am I feeling right now? Tune into that, do a couple of rounds of tapping to let it go. Okay, and again, you will just keep tapping until you really get the intensity of any of that emotion down. The good thing about doing that is it leaves you clear, so you're not carrying kind of baggage from one kind of call or meeting into another one. Okay, you're just clearing it off after that interaction so that you can go into the next interaction feeling fresh. Feeling fresh, I sound like a kind of hygiene advert or something, but you know what I mean. You're feeling clear of any negative energy or negative emotion that's come from being in that particular situation. Okay, so that's a really practical way you can use it. It's something that I do pretty much daily before I'm going on to a call with a client. Either a potential client or existing client, I'll just do a couple of rounds of tapping. And it just helps me to clear my head as well, let go of anything that's bothering me or playing on my mind, maybe from my personal life, so that I'm feeling nice and clear and able to help my clients in the best possible way. So it's a great tool for that. Okay. I want to move on to the third specific way that you can use it, because this is probably one of the most important ones. And the third way that you can use EFT, really, where it really comes into its own in terms of increasing prosperity, is you can use it to help clear any limiting beliefs that you have around money, wealth, being successful. So many of us are carrying these old, restrictive, limiting beliefs about money, about wealth, about what it takes to be successful. Okay. So many of us were brought up to believe that maybe money was bad in some way. And maybe that wasn't said to us directly, but we might have picked up on that from our parents, our teachers, our grandparents, church, society in general. This idea that to be wealthy, you have to make sacrifices, or that people won't like you if you have a lot of money, or that it's a real struggle to make money. Yeah, certainly one that I was brought up with. And, you know, I could see my mum and dad working really, really hard to make money, and it caused a lot of stress and anxiety. So unconsciously, I picked up this belief that, oh, if I want to make money, then it's going to be really, really hard work. It's going to be a real struggle, and I'll have to make sacrifices. And the thing is, when we're carrying beliefs like that, then it's very difficult to attract more money to you. Because why would you want to attract more of something that you believe is bad, or that creates struggle or stress or anxiety? So even if you do manage to create kind of money in your business to generate a nice income, you'll probably find that you have ups and downs, because you'll do well and then you'll find you'll sabotage yourself. And this doesn't happen consciously. You don't decide, oh, okay, money's bad, so I'm going to sabotage myself. It's all happening under the surface. So maybe you find that you kind of get sick or burn out, so you're not able to kind of be fully present in your business. Maybe you find that you kind of lose clients, or that you find yourself procrastinating over action that you know is going to make a difference in your business. All of these things can happen because you have these limiting beliefs around money running. It's like you've got all of these old scripts running in your mind that are limiting you. Okay, all of this past conditioning that can keep you stuck. So what we can do with tapping is that we can begin to shift and release these old limiting beliefs, and we can also install some new, more expansive beliefs that will allow you to create more abundance in your business, okay, and in your life. Okay. And just to say, these beliefs, they're not always specifically related to money. You know, limiting beliefs that can be keeping you stuck. I mean, I would say, you know, there probably will be some that you have that are directly related to money, but sometimes they can be more general. It can be things like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, no one wants to hear what I've got to say, those kinds of things as well. So tonight we're going to specifically look at the money beliefs. This is a big part of the work that I do with my clients, and on my Money Mastery group coaching program, this is probably the majority of the work we do is around beliefs, and not just the money beliefs, but the more general beliefs that can be holding you back in your life and your business. Okay, but we'll focus specifically on the money beliefs tonight. So is anyone aware of any particular limiting beliefs you have around money? Any negative beliefs you have around money or wealth? Just type them into the chat box. And again, you know, if you prefer not to share, then you don't have to, but it'd be interesting to work with one that you're actually aware of. And there's certainly some common ones that come up when I'm working with clients. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Gwyneth. People won't want to pay me. That's a great one. Like I said, when I say it's a great one, I don't mean it's a great one that you've got it, but it's a great one to be aware of, because we're not always aware of these beliefs. Okay. And this is a very common one, particularly for women entrepreneurs. We kind of question whether people will actually value what we have to offer. And of course, when we're questioning that, then our clients begin to question that as well, potential clients, because we're sending out that message. We doubt what we've got to offer. So potential clients pick up on that. So what you want to do is clear that belief that people won't want to pay me. And then you'll send a much more confident and clear signal out to potential clients and out into the universe. So that's great. Thanks for sharing that one, Gwyneth. So we'll use that one in the demonstration now. Okay. And even if you don't feel you have that particular belief running, still tap along with me now and say the words after me. Sometimes, even if we're not aware of something, we may have it running unconsciously. And actually, by tapping as a group like this, we're able to clear stuff, like I said, that we're not even aware of, or collective patterns that we can shift, which is really powerful. Okay, so we're just going to be tapping in exactly the same way, but we're working with this belief rather than a specific emotion. And you can have an idea of how strong that belief is for you right now. Again, you can rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. It's not always so easy to do that with beliefs, so don't worry about that too much, but if a number jumps out at you, then fine. Okay, so let's get into tapping. Okay, so again, starting on the karate chop point. So even though I have this belief that people won't want to pay me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I doubt that people want to pay for my products or services, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I doubt the value of what I have to offer, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That's good. Okay. So just tapping around the points. I don't think people want to pay me. Can't believe that people will really value what I have to offer. I doubt whether people will want to pay me. So I'm not sure what to charge. I feel I should keep my prices low. I can't believe people will actually want to pay me. So I feel uncomfortable asking for money. This belief that people won't want to pay me. I've been carrying it for a long time. I'm not sure of the value of what I've got to offer. I worry that people won't want to pay me. It makes me confused about my prices. I feel uncomfortable asking for money. Worry that people won't want to pay me. This belief that people won't want to pay me. And I question the value of what I have to offer. Okay. So just take a deep breath in and out. Just notice how that feels now. And I'd be interested to know, Gwyneth, what that was like as we were tapping around and just saying those words out loud. And when you're tapping on a belief, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to do a couple of rounds of tapping and then think, wow, I believe something completely different now. Yeah, it became more uncomfortable. Yeah, it can when you're tapping and actually saying it out loud. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how you can begin to install a new, more positive belief, which will help you to feel more comfortable. Usually you do a bit more tapping on that belief before you started to bring in something more positive. But I want to show you how you can do this. So we'll get straight into doing that, okay? So we've done the setup statement already, so we're just going to do a couple more rounds of tapping on that same belief, and I'm going to show you how you can bring in a more positive belief. Okay, so let's do that now. So starting on the top of the head. This belief that people won't want to pay me. I've been carrying it for a long time. I haven't been able to value what I have to offer. But maybe I can begin to do that now. I wonder if I could see the value in what I have to offer. And believe that people would want to pay me for that. I wonder what that would be like. To truly believe that I have something of value to offer. I wonder what it would be like to believe that. Maybe I can begin to see that now. That I do have something of real value to offer. And that people would want to pay me for it. Why wouldn't they want to pay me for it? Maybe it's me who's been holding myself back. And I can choose to let go of that old belief now. Because it no longer serves me. I choose to believe that I have something of value to offer. I'm choosing to be open to receive now. I choose to believe that people do want to pay me. Allowing that old limiting belief to shift and change. Because it no longer serves me. I'm ready to see things differently. Allowing that old belief to drop away. As I begin to see the value of what I have to offer. Okay, so just take a deep breath in and out. And just notice how you feel now. Okay. Gwyneth, I'd be interested to know how that was for you. just to give you an idea of how you can begin to bring in more resourceful thoughts and beliefs. Feeling better, good, good. And you know, there will be some more work left to do, like I said, with these limiting beliefs, particularly ones that have been there for a long time. They're not necessarily going to go in a couple of rounds of tapping. So what I encourage you to do, and this is the work that we do on the Money Mastery group coaching program. Like I said, it's the majority of the work, probably 80% of the work is doing this. So we look at those old beliefs, we tap on them, we see where they came from, and we begin to look for evidence that they're not true. So we really tune in to the evidence that's going to support your new expansive beliefs. So when you believe that people won't want to pay me, you just notice all of the evidence that backs that up. So if you get a client who doesn't want to pay your particular prices, then that will stick with you because it backs up that belief that you've been carrying. So what we want to do, I'm just going to come back to that in a minute, Nicola. What we want to do is look for evidence that our old limiting beliefs are not true. And there will always be evidence on both sides, and it's what you choose to focus on. So Nicola, you said there that you were starting to feel more positive, but then you could feel that old argument coming in. And that's what happens. A lot of these patterns are really ingrained, okay? You know, we've been carrying these old beliefs for a long time. So it's a continual process working with them. And what I find is, you know, we're always bringing new kind of beliefs into our awareness. We're not always aware of them immediately. When we start working with one, then we might begin to shift that, and then another one comes. But that's why the tapping is so great, because it's a tool that you can use really specifically with them. So when you've got those arguments coming in, those yes buts, it's really great to write down what they are. Okay, what are those doubts? What is that argument? What is that voice saying in your mind? Write them all down, get them down onto paper, and then you can begin to tap on them. Yeah. So what we were just doing, where we were bringing in the more positive beliefs, what you could do is, as you're tapping, you're actually vocalizing that argument that's coming to mind. Okay. So if we were working with the one we were just working with, maybe I can choose to believe that people want to pay me. But who am I kidding? That's never happened in the past. But maybe I'm ready to experience something differently now. Yeah, but it'll always be how it's always been. You know, and you just kind of tap round, kind of you can do the positive, negative, positive, negative. It just helps to get it all out and to shift it, okay? And the more you do that, the more those old kind of stubborn beliefs will begin to shift. And with this work, particularly with the belief work, where it's not like an emotion that you can experience almost physically. It's different from that. So you don't necessarily know if it shifted kind of in that moment. But what I see is that when I'm working with someone, they'll go away and maybe they'll get a new client inquiry after we've done a session. Or, you know, maybe they'll get a refund that was due to them, or some money will flow to them. You know, something like that. You will see actual effects happening in your life and your business after doing this tapping. You know, the very first time that I experienced tapping, and I'm aware we're coming up to the hour, so if you've got any more questions or feedback, type them in now. But just to say, you know, the very first time I tried tapping, it was on something like this. And I was doing the tapping and I was feeling, you know, quite nice during it, but I thought, well, I'm not really sure if this is going to make any difference. And I came off the call, the webinar, and I had a new client inquiry, someone who had been wanting to work with me for ages, but hadn't been ready to. And as soon as I came off of that tapping webinar and had been doing a bit of tapping, I had an email in my inbox from her. Now, yeah, that may have been a coincidence, but since then I've seen so many examples of that. You know, we shift the energy in this way. It's not always that we feel perfect afterwards, but you will start to see more flow in your life and your business. Okay. So I hope that's given you kind of a taster of how you can use EFT to create more prosperity. You know, we focused on 3 specific ways tonight. There are countless ways to use it. It's so versatile. So what I'd encourage you to do is to go away and just try it out. Like I said, you can't get it wrong. The important thing is to remember that you have this tool and to use it regularly. Okay, so I encourage my clients to use it daily on whatever's coming up for them. Because like I said, it all helps to shift and clear the energy. It helps to raise your vibration and means that you're sending a clearer signal out. So before we finish, have you got any other questions or feedback? Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. Oh, thank you, Gwyneth. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you've got any other questions afterwards, please do just send me a message on Facebook. It's probably the easiest way to contact me. Or you can drop me an email. Either way, that's fine. Even if over the next couple of days something comes to you, send me a message through. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm running another training session. It's next Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and we'll be going deeper into some of the belief work. It's about how to sort your money stuff. That's a technical term, money stuff, but it's all the stuff that can be holding you back. I'm going to be talking a bit more about that. So, you know, I'd love you to join me for that. But enjoy the rest of your evening and I'll speak to you soon.